Easy, easy peasy. 101. Ready?
Whenever you are.
All right. Welcome to the November 28, 2022 meeting of the Jefferson County Board of Zoning Adjustment. The Board of Zoning Adjustment is a 5-member board. 3 affirmative votes are required to approve a request for variance or appeal or other appeal. For anyone addressing the board today, please give us your name and address for the record, and then tell us your hardship or what your objection to this request may be. You'll be given our decision today verbally, and you'll receive our decision in writing within 10 days. Zoning approvals can be issued immediately following the hearing in our office in room B200. However, you will first be required to obtain a permit from the Jefferson County Department of Health if your application involves connection to a septic tank, or Jefferson County Environmental Services if your application involves connection to sanitary sewer. Anyone disagreeing with the board's decision today has 15 days in which to file an appeal in circuit court. Also, we ask that you silence any electronics devices during this hearing. The first case today is A220039, James Buckwalter, 8000 Pecan Drive, Bessemer 35022. Would staff please present the case?
Yes, ma'am. This is a request for, this is a scenario-built request. Either item number 1, a variance from the terms of the zoning regulations to allow a residential addition to be constructed 15 feet to the rear property line in lieu of the required 35, or approval of a guest house and a variance from the terms of the zoning regulations to allow the said guest house to be constructed 6 feet from the primary residence in lieu of the required 16 feet. This is a corner lot that's on Pecan Drive and South Shadescrest Road. If the house were oriented towards South Shadescrest and were to be constructed 15 feet from the same property line, there would be no need for a variance in the scenario that he does want to do an addition. Again, this just relates to the way that the county's regulations deal with corner lots and how we determine front and rear setbacks, front side and rear setbacks. If they were to do the guest house would only be 6 feet from the side of the existing residence, which is contrary to the county's requirement of 16 feet, which goes back to an old fire code. Our current building code that we enforce in Jefferson County only requires a 5-foot separation between buildings. So again, that's sort of an outdated regulation that we need to work on adjusting as we get ready to do future rewrites as in concert with our comprehensive plan update. Staff recommends approval just with the condition that the setback be reduced to 15 feet in lieu of the stated 13 feet in the notice. Again, we got the survey a little bit following the notices. We always try to build in some wiggle room. But if we're seeing that he could meet the 15 feet, then that would typically be ideal.
Okay. Does any member of the board have questions for staff or the applicant?
No.
At this time, we'd like to open a public hearing regarding this item. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak in opposition or support of this request? Come forward and give us your name and address, please.
My name is James Buckwalter. The address is 8000 Pecan Drive, Bessemer 35022, and thank you for your time today. I will be acting as the homeowner, as a builder for this project. Earlier this year, we found out my mother had Parkinson's disease, and we've already moved her into our home to try to take care of her and whatever the future holds. And we're trying to do this to make her last days here comfortable. So she's not just stuffed in a room in the back of my house. And I set out on this journey earlier this year and put everything, total architectural plan set together, not being an architect, worked through the dimensions, and it's like pulling teeth. And just got the approval and came across this setback line issue. And right now, it was still torn on whether I wanted to do it as a guest house or actual addition to the house based on the price difference and what we have in the budget. And that's basically all I have to say, other than I'm at your mercy. So thank you for your time.
Okay. Any member of the board? I think that was one of our questions. Which way do you want to go?
Is it possible to approve both options and you can go either way?
Yes, I think so. I mean, because I think the staff approved whichever way you wanted to go. So
I have permission from the property owner on the adjacent side as well. They have no problem in
Anyone else? Anyone else that wishes to speak? If not, this public hearing is closed. There are no other questions from the board members. May I have a motion from the board?
I'll make the motion to approve A 22-0039 with either the addition or the guest house, provided the addition would be no closer than 15 feet to the rear property line.
And I second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Your variance has been granted. You're welcome. Next case number is A 22-0040. Cheryl Sibley is the applicant, 1077 Stevens Road, Bessemer 35023. Would staff please present the case?
Yes, ma'am. This is a request for a use variance to allow a mobile or manufactured home on the property. This entire area in Concord with these residential subdivisions are zoned R1, which do not allow for mobile or manufactured homes. As stated in the Concord Community Plan that was drafted following the tornadoes back in 2011, the community was pretty adamant about trying to restrict mobile homes or proliferation of mobile homes in the area. And as such, they are protected by this R1 zoning that, again, as you can see on the zoning map, for everything that's within 500 feet, that's residential, with the exception of a couple of A1 lots on the opposite side of Warrior River Road, mobile homes or manufactured homes would be prohibited. There have been some scenarios where the Board of Zoning Adjustment has allowed for modular homes within this particular area, but those were also approved with certain conditions about it being installed over a full foundation, having a certain pitch to the roof to make it look more like a traditional stick-built house on the ground. Again, because it's contrary to the Concord Community Plan of the area, and it could open the door for further proliferation of mobile homes within the area, staff cannot recommend approval, must recommend denial in this particular instance for this request.
Okay. Any questions for staff or the applicant? Okay. At this time, we'd like to open up a public hearing regarding this item. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak in opposition or support of this request?
My name is Vincent Brown. I'm an attorney in Bessemer. I'm here on behalf of the petitioners. And I appreciate a limited amount of time for you to allow me to address this situation. I had talked with Mr. Morrison prior to the application actually being filed. I didn't file the application, my client did. And so the hearing kind of caught me off guard right after the holidays, but I appreciate your patience. I want to make sure that the board knows that the petition, that's the reason for the request for variance is due to a medical problem. The petitioner mother is disabled and not in good health, and the petitioner owns a property on each side of this lot, and she wants to have her mother close to her because of her health. So that is the actual reason for the variance request. My client had received a document from a department of Jefferson County, which she believed authorized this item being placed there on the lot. It is not just a manufactured home. It is a house that complies with all the HUD requirements. I think the value of it's close to $200,000, and so the home is actually already on the property. So a denial would, of course, require the removal of this item, which could damage it, because once they're put into place, it's not good to move these types of dwellings or limit them to the most you can. And looking at this petition, the first thing I noticed, and David had made me aware of the Concord restriction after the tornadoes. But looking at this map from Jefferson County, it appears that the property at issue, which is on, I think, Stevens Road, is in Rock Creek and not in Concord. I have a map here. If I had to, I went to the mapping department here in Jefferson County and got this map. May I approach?
Yes, sir.
Can I approach? Which shows, and both of these, Concord and Rock Creek, are both in unincorporated areas of Jefferson County. They're not like Bessemer or Ansley, Fairfield, or whatnot. But the map distinguishes Concord from Rock Creek, you can see. And my client's property lies in the Rock Creek area, not in the Concord area. Secondly, there are several dwellings that are very, very close to the subject property that have manufactured homes on them at the current time. I have photographs, the tax identification cards, which show that the property on Hancock Drive, Warrior River Road, and Park Road, and if I may approach, okay, yes, sir. Hold on, let me get some of it in order.
Oh, there's Hancock. Yeah.
Let's see here. Yes, sir. If you'll go look through that. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My name is Vincent Brown, and my address is 510 North 18th Street, Bessemer, Alabama 35020. And the photographs and other collateral information that I've put together there reflect different homes on adjoining or neighboring streets to Stevens Road that currently have those manufactured homes. I don't think they're modular homes. I think those are manufactured homes situated on the property that are actively being occupied at the present time. 2 or 3 of them have the owner's names there. You'll see in the actual tax card states they're manufactured homes. And I also have a photograph here. I'm sorry to run you. I apologize, sir. Of the I'm going to put petitioners on the back of it. Petitioner's property, which you will see that if you can see compared to the existing mobile homes that are already situated on Park Road, Warrior River Road, and I think it was Hancock Road, maybe. Yes. The petitioner's modular home that actually complies with HUD specifications would actually be consistent, if not an improvement, to the neighborhood. It may add value.
Is this the current? Is this the
That's
mobile
what's
home?
on my client's property as we speak right now.
Okay.
It
That's
was
what
moved
I wanted to
out,
see here.
and in fact, if it would be all right, I don't want to use any more time than I need to, or that y'all will allow me to, but I may could ask the petitioner to say a word. She has information regarding this matter that I don't, and further that you may want to ask her a question or two, mainly about what she received.
Mr. Brown, where's this one?
I can't see, ma'am. I'm so
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
I apologize.
Evidently you can't.
I can't see. I've got a map here, and I can show you. That is on. If you can you see?
You wouldn't have
They're either on.
Let me see that one again.
I've got the roads there on the.
You wouldn't have a map that has those labeled on your map along with your
I
segment.
can get, if I don't have them, sir, I can get them to you before the end of the day for y'all, for your review, have them delivered up here for your review, because I think it is important. It was, and I think the information to answer that question may be on the information that you have right now. It's either on Park Road or Warrior River Road. What was the other road out there? Hancock Drive. All of those. You see, let me ask you this. Can I see the map that I got from Jefferson County that's, I can show you about where they're at?
Well, I know where Hancock and I know where Park Lane is.
Oh, okay.
Park Road. I know all of that. And
Okay.
Stevens Road is just right there.
Okay, yes ma'am, yes ma'am, okay.
Michael?
Let Michael answer a question about that concrete
Sure. Hey, how are you?
overlay.
See you too.
Is this in the Concord area? I mean, because I know this is down closer to Rock Creek.
Yes, this area is governed under the Concord Community Plan.
You know, this is Miss Michelle Ferguson,
Hi.
and she knows more about this than I do, ma'am, so, she may can answer some questions more directly than I can.
Well, we were just trying to figure out where these were.
The homes that we took photographs of that they got, they're in close proximity to
Evidently
your.
sad.
Yes, everything that I took pictures of is within 1.3 miles of that residence. I mean, and that's not all of them. That was just
Yeah.
what I stopped at. And if I could say, as a matter of fact, on the way up here, about 30 minutes ago, they are actually dropping a mobile home, not a manufactured home, in Concord behind Dollar General by Steve's Grocery. And I am for certain that is Concord city limits.
Yeah, because you're past that.
And I'm way past that. And this is just a manufactured home. This home was, when we put this home here for my mother, it is built to HUD code, not manufactured home code. It is built with 2x6s, not 2x4s. It has sheetrock. There is no metal or whatever a mobile home is made out of. Metal may not be the correct word. It will be on foundation and bricked in.
Yeah, now that's one of the main things
We
between a
just didn't
modular
have the
home and a
opportunity
mobile
to
home
do so.
is the permanent
So,
foundation.
It will be. We just weren't given the opportunity to do so. We've had 3 inspectors out there. It has passed inspection all 3 times. The state has been out there. It has passed inspection.
What did you receive that led you to believe that it was authorized? Did you say you received
We got an
something?
erosion permit. We got septic tank permits to put the septic tank in. We got the water hooked up. We got everything hooked up. And then all of a sudden, we had someone at the end of the street call and say, "You're putting a trailer there." That's not what it is.
I can assure you, and if the board will be so kind as to consider this, we would certainly agree to not have any underpinning
No, there
or
is-
any kind of wheels or axles. It will be sitting on a permanent foundation, plumbed in. It will be part of the land, no different than if it had footings poured and was brought up from the ground.
That one. This is on Park Road,
Okay.
and that is a single wide, not a double wide.
Okay, so you're,
And another thing, as far as like he was saying, when we purchased this home, we did not even get the underpinning, nor did we get the axle or the wheels, because we didn't plan on using those, because it was going to be put on permanent foundation.
and right now your property's 3/4 of an acre.
I own the property on each side.
And
So if
so
I
it's-
need to combine the two, I can do so.
But it's a fairly, it's not like a lot it's like in a.
What's your plans? You said you're doing this for your mom?
My mother lives with us right now, kind of like the other guy. She's just in the room, you know, and she lived in McCalla, and I was having to go to see her visit multiple times a day. And I have 3 acres of land that I can just put her right next to me rather than sticking her in a room. You know, I have all of her stuff, all of my family's stuff.
Ed, your plans in the future, would you keep it as 1, 2 units on the same lot? Would you
Well, no,
look at selling it?
my husband and I live at 1079, and that's about an acre. But then there are 3 additional acres that we own that have nothing on them. And that's, so I can combine 1045 and 1077 if I need to make it one big piece of property, but not combine 1079. It would still be a separate piece of property. It's just all one track, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But,
Michael, is, in A1, you can have the,
In A1, yes, in A1, mobile homes, manufactured homes are allowed by right. They just have to be occupied by the property owner. The property owner's making family.
yeah, what's that one?
This is your zoning map,
and
the
the,
Park
and
Road
the
area.
overlay, or the plan, well, Concord plan is what's holding it up.
Well, that and just the underlying zone. Again, this area out of Rock Creek, which is further to the west, you notice all this green, all this area is zoned A1 where these things are permitted by right.
Yeah, okay, here, this is not A1?
This is not, this is R1. And everything
Oh,
around
okay,
it
I'm
is
sorry. I was
R1, but
looking
again, that, which prohibits.
And
mobile
Stevens
manufactured
Road
homes.
is right over there.
Stevens Road is right here,
Yeah. Okay.
It joins, it's contiguous to it.
and this over here is this the Park Road and Hancock Drive and all that.
Yeah, that's for all the
And
other
if I could say one more thing, I understand the R1, but like I said, this is not just some manufactured home or a trailer or whatever the correct terminology for them today is. But even at the end of the street I live on, I know you want to keep residents residential, but we have storage buildings at the end of our street. Okay, that's commercial. The guy across the street from us runs a mobile detailing thing where people come to him and they clean heavy equipment. Okay, that's across the street from me. That's commercial.
And there's like, there's a real large, I don't know who owns it, but a large storage facility.
At the very end of the street.
Yeah, on
the
that-
guy
on that
at the
street.
very end of my road has roll-off dumpsters.
And you can see
I
those
mean,
on some of
you
the
know,
photographs. that
So
we-
I don't see where we're violating anything that they're not violating.
But the petitioner has been above board the whole way through this entire process. She did not, she actively sought permission to do this with the inspections and whatnot. And what was the value, what investment did you make to obtain this, matter?
It was $191,000.
So it is not an eyesore by any stretch of the imagination. And again, if the board, in considering this, makes a requirement, if that we have it be on a foundation, we made a permanent fixture to the property, unable to be moved. That is the intent of the petition.
Yeah, they have to break it in, but it's already on the pillars and stuff.
That's the petition, that's the intent of the petitioner from the beginning, not to be moved or anything like that. And if you need additional information, be happy to provide you with it if it's within my power, or Mr. Morrison, if whatever he needs as well.
What's the closest, how close is your residence from this mobile home?
Next door. The properties join each other. My house would be here, 1079. My mother's house here, 1077 and 1045. Why it skips, I don't know. But
On this side, there you go.
I have all three.
Is that your
Here you go.
residence?
I got Gladstone, I still
Hey,
okay.
Michelle, here.
But
I was
this
gonna say,
piece
is that
will
your
be,
residence?
this
No,
piece
it's
will
not.
be on its own separate parcel.
Correct.
Oh. That's, yeah, that must be. You have a pool?
I do.
Okay. I'm assuming that's it, and this is the land
And
that's
another
vacant.
thing, you know, our next door neighbors, we have no one on this side, which is where we're putting the, home and then the vacant land. If, like I said, if I need to for agricultural purposes, I don't know what that land part, acreage is, but I can combine the two pieces of property because we own both of them.
What's getting you is the R1
Right,
zone.
but like I said, there's stores built at the end of my street. This guy over here across the street runs a commercial business. There's roll-off dumpsters at the very end of my street, and my neighbors have chickens, pigs, rabbits, and
Were you there? Were you there during the tornado?
we lived on Park Road before the tornado and in Concord or Rock Creek, and then we bought this home in 2011.
Did you attend any of the zoning?
We didn't
public
even know
hearings?
anything about it until this, nothing.
When they
Never
did
got a
the,
letter, never got anything. But, you know, that's where some of the confusion comes in, is because this is commercial, across the street, I see it all day long at my front door. The end of the street is commercial. The guy next door has pigs, rabbits, chickens. Okay, that's agriculture. So, I don't know where I live.
I'm not opposed to it.
You know, I just don't understand why, you know, when we're trying to better the neighborhood, all of a sudden it's like, no, everybody else can do whatever they do, but you can't.
Well, as I said, it is not an eyesore, or I think it would be a benefit to the community. I think it would add. I've been in real estate practice for over 30 years, and based on, and I'm not an appraiser, but based on what I have seen and what is out there now and what this is, it will be consistent with the current situation out there. It's not something that anybody would ride by and think it was an eyesore. It would not raise any issues like that. I wouldn't ask the board to even consider something like that.
Okay. Any other questions?
we do have some that has raised the issue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
Okay. Okay. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak in support or opposition? No. Is this your mother?
It is.
Okay. All right. If there's no one else to speak, the public hearing is closed. If there are no other questions from the board, may I have a motion?
well, I'm gonna go against staff, but I'm gonna make the recommendation that we approve 00040. Based on the stipulation, you do put a permanent foundation
Yes, sir.
under it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about a permanent foundation, so I second it,
Yes, ma'am.
approval.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Your variance has been granted.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Let me ask you this. What should when would I receive some type of copy of that, a paper of that?
Once the decision letter is written, it'll be uploaded into the electronic file.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. But what, a couple of weeks, maybe?
No, probably.
7 days.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Thank you very much for your consideration. Thank you.
You're
All of
welcome.
you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Good to
Attorney
see you.
Brown.
Take care, everybody. I think that's yours.
It is.
Okay. Let's moving on. Next case is A22-0041, Randall Palmore, 1648 Morton Road, Warrior 35180. Would staff please present the case?
Yes, ma'am. This is a request to record a subdivision with two lots having 15 feet of road frontage in lieu of the required 15 feet. As you can see on what's displayed on the screen, the lots themselves will actually have access from the opposing road and not from the road for which this road frontage is coming from. They need this particular variance to satisfy requirements of the Birmingham Waterworks Board that requires you to have a minimum set of road frontage in order to supply a water service. Again, this is not for access. We had a similar case like this last month where the board recommended or where the board approved the request. And again, in light of that and in light of this is just trying to satisfy an outside agency's requirement, staff recommends approval.
And where did you say the access to the property will be?
The access is actually from Morton Road. And the frontage that's in question is on this side road, which is Sunnyside Circle.
Sunny side. Always look on the sunny side. Okay. Does any member of the board have questions for staff or the applicant in this case?
I don't.
At this time, we'd like to open a public hearing regarding this item. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak in opposition or support to the request? If not, going once, going twice. Public hearing is closed. There's no other questions from the board members. May I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All of can't say nay. The variance has been granted. Turn to my page. Next case is A22-0043. Wesley Bertoldi, I hope, 4859 Warrior Jasper Road, Dora, 35062. Would staff please present the case?
Yes, ma'am. Again, this is another case that's in conjunction with a subdivision request or a request to subdivide property. This is a request to record a lot having 50 feet of lot width in lieu of the required 100 feet in A1 agricultural zoning. What the purpose of this subdivision is for this lot 1B to provide access to an acreage tract to the rear, which, as you can see on the aerial image on the screen, you have the parent tract from which this 50-foot strip is going to be is proposed to be subdivided, and then you have that rear acreage, which is it's a large acreage tract. Just to, again, building on scenarios, if that acreage tract was included with this 50 feet, there would be no need for a variance. It's just that it's going to be its own standalone independent lot in this instance. Given that particular scenario and no real adverse impacts, staff recommends approval with the stipulation that no residence be constructed on this particular lot of record.
All right. Does any member of the board have questions for staff or the applicant regarding this case?
No.
At this time, we'd like to open a public hearing regarding this item. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak in opposition or support to this request? If not, public hearing is closed. If there are no other questions for the board, may I have a motion from the board?
I make a motion to approve case 220043. Oh, sorry.
It's not on there. He didn't type it on this time, the stipulation.
No
No resident be built on the
residence be
property.
placed on the 50-foot strip.
No residence be placed.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The variance has been granted. Next case number is A22-0044. Michael J. Fowler and Elizabeth Rachel Fowler, 1859 Rex Lake Road, Leeds, 35094. Would staff please present the case?
Yes, ma'am. This is a request to allow a guest house on the footprint of a previous guest house on the property. The property itself has 2.25 acres, which is large enough to sustain both a residence and a guest house. In fact, in R1 zoning, this could be theoretically subdivided so that each residence could be contained on its own separate lot. Given the size of the property and given the fact that it can be accommodated and given the fact that there was a precedent for this type structure being located there in the past, staff is recommending approval of this particular request.
Okay. Any member of the board have questions for staff or the applicant? If not, at this time, we would like to open a public hearing. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak in opposition or support to this request? Here for the same thing. If not, public hearing is now closed. Are there any other questions or comments from the board? If not, may I have a motion?
Make the motion to approve 0044.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. The variance has been granted. Last item is case number A220045. Brenda Daniel Signs Incorporated, 1524 Barstow Boulevard, Birmingham 35214. Would staff please present the case?
Yes, ma'am. This is a request to replace an existing sign with a sign of the exact same square footage. This is out on Forestdale Boulevard. Several years ago, the county had changed their sign regulations so that each sign that's a wall sign, the allowable size is relative to the size of the fascia. In this instance, what we have is a non-conforming sign that's actually going to be removed, so it's going to lose its non-conforming status, and they wish to replace it with a sign of the same size. However, that sign of the same size is actually larger than what we could permit for a new sign. Being as this is again, there's the rule that's in place, and this is just sort of a request as a runaround for the board. Staff in this instance can't recommend approval either. And so again, you'll see on the screen, it's the sign that's the exact same size. They're also refacing an existing pole sign. Again, now with just the refacing, we've allowed that to happen because it's not really changing anything. There's not a structural change. In this instance, they're actually going to be removing the structure itself, and the sign will lose its non-conforming status. Again, with that in consideration, staff has recommended denial of this particular request.
Okay. Does any member of the board have questions?
No.
If not, at this time, we'd like to open a public hearing regarding this item. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak in opposition or support to this request? Please come forward and give us your name and address.
Yeah, Wes Daniel with Daniel Signs, address 2748 Alton Road. What the Sherwin-Williams would like to do, rather than replacing the face on this front, it's an old sign with fluorescence, and they'd want to update it with aluminum, and that's what they requested, is to replace the sign. So we're at your mercy.
Go ahead.
And
I know you
this-
have a question. I had one too. Okay.
Go ahead.
No. Okay, Michael, what's the difference in replacing the fascia on the post sign and replacing this one, the fascia part of it? Yeah.
What we could permit at this particular location is 81.2 square feet based on the square footage of the fascia.
Mm-hmm.
What they're requesting is 120 square feet.
Okay. So it's actually larger. We're not just replacing like sign. It's
Yes.
Okay.
It's larger than what we could permit to go back on the building.
It is the same size as the existing.
Correct.
So it's replacing same size.
With the same size.
just doesn't conform anymore to regulations. Okay.
Once we take it down, it's not conforming to the 80 square feet.
And that sign's roughly 4 foot tall,
Yes, sir.
Lou, so you're talking about cutting off about 9.5 feet of it.
4 by 30, 120 square feet.
If you, what's behind that sign that's going to show if you make it smaller? Is it
They're going to have to repaint the fascia or replace it one. Not sure what holes are behind it, or I'm sure there'll be holes either the top or bottom, because it wouldn't be as high. It'd be the same proportions, probably 3'6" or something like that.
So you shrink it all the way around?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
So you could just leave it like the top and it'd be old and dilapidated, or you can put the new one.
A lot to be said for repainting.
And Sherwin-Williams, all right.
There you go.
They have a good connection to paint.
That doesn't help Daniel Signs much. All right. If there are no more questions, we'll close this public hearing. If there are any questions from the board before we close it out, may I have a motion from the board?
I make a motion to approve it. I mean, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Second that.
Yeah, no, you were? Okay, I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Your motion, I mean, your variance has been granted. Clean it up. Get them to paint it. Make it look good. It's okay. Michael's going to
I
rethink.
know, Mike. I'm
Gonna replace
looking
us.
like-
Other business, have the board members had a chance to review the case materials and minutes from the October 24th, 2022 hearing that was sent to us electronically?
Yes.
May I have a motion from the board regarding the minutes? We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any other business? Okay.
Two up there.
Motion to adjourn. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to adjourn.
White.
Sorry. You got that? I know. You can't say, well, they were
So
very
short, I keep
quiet.
looking over here.
Yeah, they were very quiet when they said it. Okay, we're adjourned.
I was glad I could